We're ready for what we're about to receive.
Have you ever wanted to destroy everything? To use the supposedly apathetic destructive nature of the universe to wipe out existence as we know it? If no one exists, there's no suffering, but there's also no happiness. If you've had these thoughts, you most certainly are not alone. Ideas like omnicide or the destruction of all life have captivated countless humans for as long as we've been around. This is a look at how annihilation and nihilism, as well as their polar opposites, are represented in popular contemporary media. The stories I'm going to reference throughout this video are stories that should be experienced for yourself. My brief summaries are nothing in comparison to the actual experiences. The world in Elden Ring, referred to as the Lands Between, are so fractured and perverted, death isn't even a certainty. Those gifted with an ability called grace are able to be reborn. Although reincarnation sounds enticing, returning to the Lands Between means returning to the overwhelming violence, sorrow, fear, and monstrosities that fill the lands. This cycle of live, die, repeat is something that many wish to be rid of. Many in the Lands Between seek to change it, in whatever way they deem fit, as long as they have the strength to force their will onto others. As the player character in Elden Ring, we become all too familiar with suffering. Not only by constantly dying, but by seeing how non-playable characters fare in this world. There are some in this world that want nothing more than to destroy this system that perpetuates a cycle of suffering. Some want reform, some want revolution, and some want total annihilation.
And incinerate all that divides and distinguishes.
One way these systems can be eradicated is with the help of a god that grants the player power on a cosmic scale. One man in Elden Ring that wants to use this godly power is Shabriri, a man who can assist you in destroying the world regardless of who stands in the way. Shabriri worships the frenzied flame, which is the embodiment of chaos, a chaotic power that guarantees self-assured mutual annihilation. Many in the Lands Between have been punished for any relation to the frenzied flame.
May chaos take the world.
Karle the Merchant, his ancestors were persecuted and murdered for an alleged alliance with the frenzied flame. His quest sadly isn't in the game, but data miners have found that Karle very much wanted the flames to punish those who eviscerated his bloodline. This flame grants a cosmic level power to destroy the Lands Between and everything else with it, to become a molten mass in the crucible of creation. This ending lets the frenzied flame consume it all, burn down all that was, and all that ever will be.
May chaos take the world!
Including those who were kind to you, those who were trying to make the Lands Between more hospitable. This ending exemplifies the nihilistic and/or pessimistic beliefs that the player may have come to believe while playing Elden Ring. And if they think this land is beyond saving, they can purify the Lands Between with a cosmic inferno. Pessimists often believe the world you're born into is an awful one, filled with suffering. Elden Ring reflects this in many aspects, but it also shows that there are few who held on to hope to fix the Lands Between. Regardless of their hopes and beliefs, the frenzied flame destroys it all. So were the beliefs of those who held on to hope inherently flawed or misguided? According to pessimistic people and the followers of Frenzy Flame, they'd probably both say yes, because they believe life is filled with suffering and there's no hope for a better future. But as we see in Elden Ring, there was hope, and there are other endings to the game that show this as well. With the Frenzied Flame ending, we see that Melina, one of the player's allies, wants revenge for what the player did, and she condemns the Lord of Frenzied Flame, showing that total annihilation was not a solution to end all suffering. The Frenzied Flame ending is immensely flawed, selfish, and awful. Life is not only pain. There are bright spots. The hardest part is to hold on to hope within the darkness, to keep on keeping on between those spots of light. Death Stranding takes place in a world where cataclysmic events happen numerous times a day, and for a select few called repatriates, death is unobtainable, much like those gifted with grace in Elden Ring. The rain in Death Stranding is called Timefall, and it rapidly causes all things to age. Along with the fact that ghosts populate the world, it's safe to say this world in Death Stranding is a far cry from comfortable. Even though this world is so deadly, our protagonist Sam does his best to make everyone's lives better. Sam starts off as an emotionally stunted, closed-off guy just doing his job delivering goods to people. His actions tell a different story, though. He braves those deadly conditions to serve those who need his help. He doesn't want to be acknowledged as a hero. The world in Death Stranding is a great example of cosmic nihilism or cosmicism. Essentially nihilism, but on a universal scale. The universe does not and will never care for you. The way the weather, spirits of those who have passed on, and other humans want to kill Sam certainly back up this claim. Nihilism is presented and challenged in Death Stranding. A standout nihilist in the game is Higgs. He is the pseudo-leader of an extremist group called the Homo Demons. They want to destroy what's left of civilization with nuclear weaponry and other catastrophic means, similar to the followers of the Frenzied Flame. Sam defeats Higgs and goes on to find the true leader of the group, who is Amelie, the woman who raised Sam. Not only is she the leader of the Homo Demons, but she is also an extinction entity, who wants and can cause an extinction event that will destroy all life on Earth. Amelie wants to end all suffering with an extinction because she has seen all the pain that this world has brought to people. She sees the extinction, aka the Last Stranding, as the more humane choice as opposed to this cycle of suffering, similar again to the Flame of Chaos. Sam convinces her to not destroy all life by appealing to her humanity, the humanity and kindness that she showed him throughout his life. When Sam was an infant, Amelie saved him and took care of him, but also used and manipulated him. Regardless of how she treated him, Sam chose to show her love, to accept the risks, to accept the inevitable pain that is opening yourself up to others. Sam knows that life is worth living, even though he knows how it ends or how hard it will get. Because the joy of connecting with others is the best feeling in the world. It makes life worth living. Killing all life on Earth is bad. That's a very hot take, I know. But this idea has evoked strong emotions and lengthy discussions for thousands of years now. I think for most people, the idea or desire to destroy all of life doesn't come from an overwhelming sense of violence, but more from a place of fear and an overwhelming anxiety of what the future holds. The choice to spare others from that fear, or from the very real pain life will bring, makes sense in some ways, but at the same time, you're killing people. You're stripping them of their lives and their agency and their experience of what life could be. But thinking back to the ancient writings of so many cultures that depicted the end times, they were usually created in response to seeing or hearing about horrifying real-world events, be it a volcano erupting, a plague wiping out a crop, an earthquake, or a band of raiders from an invading army. Doomerism has always been around, and it probably always will be around. If giving up had a mentality, it would be doomerism. It's the ultimate excuse for inaction. But we all can do something about the world we live in right now. I chose to talk about these two games because I love them, but they also show two different paths that one can follow when dealing with the horror of the real world. The path of doomerism, to give in to the inevitable entropy of the universe, or the path of hopefulness, mustering up the courage to persevere and accept the risks of living. World-ending events like the ones in Death Stranding or Elden Ring will most likely, hopefully, not happen during our lifetime. But we are experiencing our fair share. From climate change, war, famine, and disease, these all make doomerism very enticing. It will seem like all hope is lost for the future. We live in a world that is far more cruel than any piece of fiction would ever dare to depict. A world where a majority of humans are forced into a constant struggle that they'll sadly never escape. Where exploitation and violence get incentivized in order to obtain a better social standing. Where so much of the success we celebrate comes at a price many of us can't fathom or refuse to. But even amidst all that, I can still find hope. I can still find a reason to keep on keeping on. And I hope you can too. And it can be as small as being kind to each other, which again is a constant effort and it's hard, and of course it won't solve everything, but it's a start, and by all accounts an objective good for all of us. Thanks for watching and listening to my ramblings. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Alright, see ya.